Vime Data 2.1, let's put the Docker on an Ubuntu server or a Linux server or whatever you've got. I think this will work on most Linux servers, but I'm using an Ubuntu server, so that's your most likely compatible way of using this tutorial. Not my usual Synology one, but you can always follow along on any of these by putting a virtual machine on your Synology NAS. So if you look up how to do that, you can put an Ubuntu virtual server on a Synology NAS, no problem, and follow along here. So I'm going to make the assumption, too, that you have a server set up and you've got a username on a server. You're in, you can SSH in, and that's as far as you're at. I'm not going to make a lot of assumptions past that, though. So let's start by going to docker.com, and we're going to click on developers, and then let's go to documentation. We're going to click get Docker, and then we're going to come down to where it says Docker Engine. Make sure you're in Docker Engine. I used to click on one of the other ones by accident all the time. Docker Engine, install, and then I want Ubuntu. Or Ubuntu. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, and I'll never know. There are two ways of doing this. I'm going to show you one of the way that I typically do it. There is an easy way. If you scroll down, there's a section that says something about a convenience script. Yeah, way down here. Install using the convenience script, which basically you can just go to get.docker.com and copy and paste that command in, and that should install Docker for you. So that is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to set up the Docker's app repository. So, sorry, let me start from the top. We're going to scroll down to installation methods and then install using the app repository. So step one, you're going to add the app repository. So you'll just copy all of this stuff. I just click this button up here to copy it, go back into terminal, and I will paste that command and hit enter. You'll have to type in your administrator password, and you'll be good to go. It'll start putting in the repository. So this doesn't download and install Docker. It just downloads, I guess, the repository that will let you download all your official Docker stuff. So we got that guy going. He's done. We'll scroll down to step two. So step two is where we're going to install Docker, all the Docker packages. So you can just copy and paste this command here. So back in the terminal, we'll just paste that command. This will breeze for me because I already have Docker installed, nothing upgraded, nothing installed, good to go, but it might take you a minute. As you're running these commands, it might ask you if you're sure you want to do something, so you have to type in a Y and hit enter, and it will be good to go. So step three, after you have gotten that far, you can run this command, sudo docker run hello world. And you should get a success message. So it's probably not going to come up as quickly as mine. You'll get a couple of additional messaging that I think it'll let you know that it doesn't have it and it's going to have to install it, and it's going to eventually put up the hello worlds. But you'll get hello from Docker. This message shows that your installation appears to be working correctly. Good job by you. So you've got Docker installed. You're not done yet, though. No, you're not done yet because we got to get into permissions. So if I paste that command in again, you can see that I actually ran sudo. So sudo means that we are running this as an administrator. Don't yell at me if I've got any of my terminology wrong. But basically, we're having to run this as an administrator because Docker can only be run by an administrator right now. So, if you're on Windows or Mac, every once in a while when if you're installing an application, it's probably going to ask you to type in administrator username and password. That's basically what this guy is doing. So this also requires it just to run programs. So if you delete sudo and just do docker run hello world, this will work for me, but it's probably not going to work for you because your user, whoever it might be, in my case it is VD21, is not allowed to run any Docker commands. They don't have permission to Docker. So we're going to do that next. If we go back to docker.com, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and then you can click on a section that says Next Steps. So we'll do the post-installation steps for Linux. And this will be Manage Docker as a non-root user. A lot of good documentation here, more than I can ever explain, but it'll tell you why you want to do that and how this works. So if we scroll down to create a Docker group to add your Docker user, I don't think you have to do this anymore, but you can copy it. We'll start from the steps. This is going to create a group called Docker. So we'll copy that and paste it. We'll paste that in a command line. Now, in my case, it already exists, and in your case, it might already exist. I believe when you install Docker nowadays, it actually just makes that group for you. But if not, you got your Docker group. Now we want to add our user to the Docker group. So we'll copy this command. We'll go back into terminal and paste it. So you can see all you're doing here is a command called usermod, and then this -ag, I believe it stands for add to group. And then the group name is Docker, and then you can see this $ user. We're going to delete all that, including the $, and then just type in the name of your user, hit enter, and now your user should be able to run Docker. You might have to exit out of your server and relog back in for this to work. So if it doesn't work initially, maybe try that. So we will see if it works though, and that's pretty easy. Yeah, log out and log back in so that your group membership is re-evaluated. You can also run the following command to activate the change in the group. Oh, okay. So I guess you don't have to log in and out. You can actually run new group docker, and that should run. But let's verify now. So we'll copy this command. So this is the same as before, but it doesn't have sudo in front of it. And we'll paste that in, and hello world should work. And there you go. You now have Docker successfully installed on your Ubuntu server. Great job by you.